sometimes your body want to say, I can't do it no more. But my mind say, I got to keep going.
Nearly every weekend for the last 10 months, David Robinson has been here, searching the Buckeye Desert with volunteers, hundreds showing up to look for his son, Daniel.
10 months is a long time. Every day is that same thing over and over again. Daniel's still out there missing.
He's organized hundreds of search groups, using drones and other technology to canvass miles of desert terrain around the crash site of Daniel's 2017 Blue Jeep Renegade. Daniel's clothing found inside out, boots and socks, wallet and laptop. No blood, no signs of injury, no signs of Daniel. He hired a private investigator and collision expert.
After the airbags came out, somebody turned that ignition over at least 46 more times.
David's teams even found human remains, but not Daniel's. Funding generated through
Dawn in the desert, a clear and chilly November morning. We are near the city of Buckeye, Arizona, where a caravan of cars is arriving, carrying volunteers. For the next several hours, they will comb this unforgiving landscape, looking for a young man who's been missing since June of 2021. His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
Where is everybody located?
For 9 painful months, Robinson and his team of volunteers, people he now calls family,
This is my family.
have been desperately trying to find any trace of his son.
A year ago, we launched a series here on News Nation focusing on missing person cases that were not getting national attention. We are continuing that series every Thursday here on News Nation Live. And this morning, we are revisiting a case that still remains a mystery nearly 16 months later. It is the story of a young geologist named Daniel Robinson, who vanished in the Arizona desert. And in a moment, Daniel's dad, David, will be joining me live. But first, a look at Daniel's disappearance. Tonight, we start our series, Missing in America, taking you to where the people were last seen, meeting these families and bringing you their stories. And we begin tonight with Daniel Robinson.
This is the area in Buckeye where his vehicle was found. This is remote. The terrain is extremely treacherous.
Daniel Robinson was 24 when he disappeared, a geologist working his dream job in the Arizona desert. A coworker says Robinson left his job site on the morning of June 23, 2021. His Jeep, found a month later, crashed in a desert ravine. Robinson's keys, cell phone, and wallet were still inside, his clothing in a pile just outside the vehicle. But no sign of Daniel.
I do my job and find my son. He's my son, I'm his father, and it's my job.
For nearly 16 months, David Robinson hasn't given up on that job, searching the desert and bringing in his own private investigator. They took News Nation's Nancy Liu to the crash site. The investigator says too much doesn't add up, including red paint transfer on the side of the Jeep.
The vehicle was tipped over on the passenger side, so there's no red paint in this area. So how that got there, that's why I'm saying that vehicle did not crash here. That vehicle was, its last place of rest was here, but something was going on with that vehicle.
He notes other inconsistencies in the crash report.
The vehicle had 11 additional miles on it from the time the airbags deployed. It had 46 additional ignition cycles on it after the airbags deployed.
But Buckeye police say there's no evidence of foul play and have resisted a deeper investigation. The private investigator is also no longer on the case, but Robinson has finally convinced an outside law enforcement agency to go through Daniel's computer and cell phones for any clues.
They saw some of the things that I was seeing, and they wanted to look into it themselves.
While he waits for any information, he holds vigils.
As you guys know, I've been here over a year searching for Daniel.
And has organized dozens of searches.
Still don't have the answer that we're looking for. But we thank you for coming out here. It really means a lot to us.
Covering more than 23,000 acres, using four-wheelers and on foot. On at least 2 separate occasions, volunteers found human remains, which turned out not to be Daniel's.
Even though we didn't find Daniel, but it gave you some relief a little,
that, we was able to bring some other families some type of closure.
He raises money on GoFundMe and takes every opportunity to speak about his son's disappearance.
I was here to bring awareness to my son's case.
Even appearing at CrimeCon in Las Vegas. Robinson has created a robust social media presence, a sophisticated website documenting coverage of the case, and weekly live online updates, all to keep his and other cases in the spotlight.
I'm blessed that I have a small platform, especially on YouTube presence, as well as TikTok and Twitter. In that doing so, I'm able to also help other families. I had other families on my Q&A to be able to tell their stories as well.
This Army veteran with a new mission in life, one he says he'll never give up.
No matter what, we will not leave a soldier behind. My son, he's my son, and I'm definitely not leaving him behind. That's thank you.
Local police investigating continue to say they have no evidence of foul play in Daniel's disappearance. Joining me now is Daniel's dad, David Robinson. David, you and I have spoken a number of times over the last year since Daniel's disappearance. By watching this story again, finding him must be all-consuming. You changed your life, moved across the country to search.
Yes, thank you for having me on. Yes, it's been very trying for me and my family, Daniel's siblings, his mother. It's been very trying being out here trying to get the answers that we're looking for. You can imagine after a year now still searching for Daniel and not having all the answers that we're looking for is very troubling in our mental state. It's really, really hard. Struggling and working with the law enforcement on the outside of Buckeye. Trying to get more law enforcement more involved to a point where there's an urgency there. I'm still looking for that urgency after a year. A lot of urgency that will definitely give me more answers, but I'm still on the job. I'm still on the job, putting on my investigative hat, as well as being a father, but also being able to help others as I'm taking this journey.
David, I said a moment ago, Buckeye Police, they have a timeline on their website. They say they're still actively investigating, but there's no evidence of foul play. After all of your investigative work and being so close to this case, do you believe that?
Well, according to my investigator, I did hire a private investigator, and all the information that we gave them from tangible evidence of the red transfer paint, for instance, 11 additional miles, pressure on the windshield, the fact that we don't even know it's Daniel's clothing that's on the ground, haven't been forensically tested. Those type things will, in my opinion, based on my family knowledge of my son. I've been there from the time he was born. We have a great indication about the way Daniel thinks. So you put all that things in combination that will suggest foul play. Against what the Buckeye Police Department feel, I feel there's more to the story.
And you questioned, David, the timeline as well. What stands out to you that may be inaccurate about the timeline?
Well, one of the biggest things is the person that's last seen this person should be, that story should be vetted very well. And we later found out in my investigation, his story just didn't match the timeline. He said my son left, for instance, the well site at 9:15, but yet my son made a phone call, his final phone call to him at 9:28. Those calls and the desire my son sent a text message to ask for the location became unanswered. So again, like I said, my son called at 9:28. I'm assuming to ask for direction. So the timeline is not right. When the timeline is not right, you really have to scrutinize that story a little more.
David, this is a tough question to ask, and I'm sorry for asking it, but do you feel as though Daniel is still alive?
I have to. That's the only one that's one of the things that keep me going. It's also crucial for my family, his mother. We're people of faith. We believe in God. We believe in miracles. Though sometimes I look at everything that I have evidence-wise that would suggest other things, I still keep that hope and that faith because we don't have those answers of where Daniel's located. So I always have to keep that faith that somehow I'm going to bring my son home alive. And I really want to believe that. And I'm going to continue to believe that.
I appreciate that. And David, as we look at pictures of Daniel on the screen, there's one video that I just love where he's standing outside and snow is falling on his face. He's got this great big smile. I want you to share with people at home your son, his personality, who he is, and what you miss most about him.
Yeah, Daniel's very free-spirited. You probably can tell by the pictures. He's loved by a lot of his friends. He's a very friendly person. He loves nature. That's the reason why he's a geologist. That's why he came out to Arizona. He wants to be able to be in tune with nature. Also, he's a very family-oriented person. He definitely keeps the family together. Like I said, he shows a lot of love to his family. We love him back. One thing I miss the most for me, on my perspective, is having a conversation with my son. My son always come to me. He come to his mother. He calls all the time. We keep in contact with each other. But for me, just having that 2-hour conversation that we normally have, where he's asking questions, he's wanting to know things, he get advice, his entrepreneur spirit, what he want to do in life. He always plan things and always look on the positive light. I miss those things about my son.
And do you think about what you would say to him now if he could hear you?
Yes, of course. I've been here over a year searching for you. I'm not giving up. He's my son. I love him dearly. I'm here to fight. That's what fathers do. He know I have his back, and I'm here for him. No matter what, I'm definitely here and want to make sure I bring him back. And I'm not going to let anyone stop me. I want him to know that.
Amen. David, you have become such a powerful voice for so many other families that you have come in contact with who are also trying to find their loved ones. What has that support and getting to know these families meant for you and giving you hope in your case as well?
Yes. One thing, there's always something light at the end of the tunnel. It's definitely been a long experience, but in that experience, when you're a person that just have a missing loved one in your family, you're unaware of what other people are going through as well. I found out this is not unique to my family. There's other struggling families that don't even have a voice, so be able to talk to people all the time and hear their stories, it caused me to be passionate. I couldn't be human without answering those calls. I just want to make sure that I'm helping the other families as much as I can through my journey, doing everything I can. That's the reason why I have the Daniel Robinson Foundation, as well as other events and things I do to try to make sure I can get other people's story out there. I'm very passionate about that. Want to help everybody I can. It's my duty and my journey as well to be able to do that.
Well, you're a great dad and you've got a big heart, and I know you've got a big support system behind you as well. And the most important thing is keeping Daniel's story in the headlines. We're glad to partner with you as you do that, David Robinson. Thank you for giving us some time.
I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
My best to you. And if you have any information on the location of Daniel, if you have any information in this case, the Buckeye Police Department are still actively investigating. You can also go online to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. And you can follow our Missing series here on News Nation every Wednesday on Rush Hour with Nicole Burley and Thursday right here on News Nation Live. And if you have a case...
Yeah, we got some families that we're about to meet that are holding out hope in regards to being able to find their loved ones. Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona. His overturned Jeep and belongings were found in a nearby ravine. His parents, David and Melissa, need our help. We wanted to give you an opportunity to tell us about your son, Daniel.
I had a moment when you showed me his picture.
Yeah.
Just looking at him, it's so difficult. You want to talk to him, you want to hug him. Daniel is my hero. Just reading his text, telling me how he feels about me, leaving the very last message on June the 21st, telling me how he loves me.
Hey, Mama. I just wanted to see how you're doing. I just want to let you know I love you. And, yeah, we could talk later. All right, bye.
Oh, wow. And that was the last time that you heard from him?
Yeah.
David, when was it that you guys decided that something was not right?
On June 23rd, I received a phone call from my daughter. She alerted me that one of the co-workers came by and was searching for Daniel. We weren't getting any answers to his phone. They said he was last seen at his job site roughly 9 o'clock that morning. And I just knew immediately that things wasn't right because Daniel, he would never, ever not answer his phone, first of all. And the second thing is not tell us where he was going.
Right. I think that's really important because the idea of patterns, I'm really big on that, even with my children. What David is basically saying is that a pattern was broken. And so he saw immediately that this is out of character.
Right.
something is wrong.
And that's so important for police officers when they start to investigate these cases. One of the first questions they'll ask is was this normal? Was this something he would do? Because the thought is, maybe they're just not calling you. There is this tendency to say, why don't you just give it a little bit?
Right.
You might hear from him. He might come around. But it's got to be, this is not like my son. And you are the one who knows your child.
Right.
To have them understand, no, this, what's out of the ordinary.
David, is it my understanding that you've relocated to Arizona to lead the search for your son?
Upon putting in a missing person report with the Buckeye Police Department, they said they was going to go out, search the next following morning because it was too dark when I called in. And once that morning came, and they counseled and alerted me that being that my son is grown, he's an adult, he's allowed to leave. When I heard that, that was unacceptable to me, so I grabbed everything I could and I just started driving. I made it out here, and I've been here since June the 26th.
Got it.
Searching for my son. We're going to find Daniel.
Was it difficult to get the police to just take seriously that Daniel was missing?
Yes, even from the first day. You know, we know our son, and you know, it's very out of character. Things didn't add up. It was very difficult just to even get movement. They did a first search for my son, which was 3 days later. I haven't gotten any support from the police department. I mean, nothing. We have been fortunate to get our own cadaver dogs and search dogs, even the aircraft, drones. We've been on it. The searches, full of volunteers. The difficulty has been getting media attention. And I stayed up many nights, emailing, texting, calling, visiting, whatever it took just to get something going. It lasted for 3 months, 3 hard months.
David, you actually hired your own investigator, right? You're saying the word we, but this does not include the police. You've had to do this independently, right?
That's correct. That is correct. I say we because everybody who come out to the searches, we're family. That's my extended family.
That's right.
Yeah.
We put long hours out there in 118-degree weather. They're dedicated people. The things that I feel, and my son's mother, is the things that the people that serve and protect should be doing. We found ourselves doing it.
When you talk about the searches that you've been putting together, how were you able to do that?
I didn't know anyone when I hit the ground here. I didn't know how to get involved. I never organized anything in my life.
Right.
So I just reached out to any and everybody I could. What I was trying to do is find people who actually knew about the desert conditions.
Got it.
When you found the car, all his belongings were inside the car, correct?
Well, it's a rancher found our son's vehicle, and that was on July the 19th. When I received the call, it was 9 o'clock that morning, the next day after they found my son's vehicle. The first thing the detective said to me was, "Hey, Mr. Robinson, we found your son's vehicle." That just took my breath away, thinking that maybe I hear something else horrible. How I'm going to tell his mother. I said, "Okay, when was it found?" And he told me it was found the day before. And I asked him, "Okay, why you guys didn't call me?" "We didn't want to disturb your sleep." That made me uptight. My son's clothing, everything he had on his body was about 3 feet away from the vehicle in a pile. His safety vest that he wore the day he went missing was another foot away. His cell phone was in the vehicle, work computer. His wallet was in the pants pocket in the pile. I know that's difficult for his mother to hear all this. Excuse me, give him a moment. One of the things that struck me the most, my son is only 24 years old.
Yeah.
They're attached to their phones. I know they are.
Right.
And I couldn't see him leaving that behind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What did the police tell you as to explain? Did they offer any theory of the case whatsoever to try to find him?
Yes, they gave me not too great of a theory. When I got out there, the detective gave me a briefing. He pointed out my son's clothing on the ground. He pointed out the vehicle's damage. He said that the vehicle flipped and rolled and landed on the side. He told me that there was no blood found in the vehicle, indicating our son wasn't injured. He said that he was wearing a seatbelt because of the way the seatbelt locked, so he knew the seatbelt was on. All the airbags were deployed. He told me that my son obviously escaped out of the sunroof and that he must have had a severe head injury. He was delusional, decided to take his clothes off because head injury make him hot or something or the other. And he just walked off and probably rested under a tree somewhere. And that was his theory.
I think we're all dumbfounded for a moment, trying to think about all the things that do not add up about this. But I keep looking at Mom.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about what every mother sees talking about their child. I know he's 24 years old, but you don't see a 24-year-old. You see the little baby, and you're hearing these things. What are you thinking?
When his father first told me that the vehicle was found, and then they started talking about cadaver dogs, I just screamed. And I just couldn't believe this can't be real. I was feeling like I'm in a nightmare.
Yeah.
I was on the floor. I cried. His father kept saying, Alyssa, it's going to be all right. I'm going to find our son. I'm going to find him. I promise you, I'm going to find him. But I said, I just want him back. I didn't even know what to pray or how to pray.
Yeah.
And then I had to just change that prayer and say, I want him back safe. The thoughts are running rampant in my mind. I'm thinking the very worst thing, that someone is hurting my son. I'm seeing him crying out for me. I'm just seeing these things that he's just really needing to say, help me. I started dreaming about him, saying, Mama, I'm here. Mama, I'm over here. Hurry up. And I'm saying, Daniel, please listen to me. I'm talking to you. And it's saying, Mom, I'm here.
Yeah.
Mom, I'm here. I need to find him. And it was heartbreaking to just go to his apartment.
Yeah.
Very, very heartbreaking. I had to pick up the little hairs off the floor and put them in a Ziploc bag because at least I knew that was a part of him.
Right.
That's all I had.
But one thing I want to really say too, Daniel is definitely not a person that's depressed and down. He's high-spirited, have dreams, and he's a contributor to society. Daniel's a scientist, very smart, very sharp, and we just want him back home. We just want him back here with us.
We want to just give our prayers to you, our love, and, you know, we are wishing you the best in this.
Thank you so much.
An urgent plea from a father who has scoured the vast Arizona desert himself to find his missing son. It's been almost 4 months since Daniel Robinson, a 24-year-old geologist, mysteriously vanished from a remote work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona. Then, nearly a month after he disappeared, his Jeep was found rolled over in a ravine with most of his belongings nearby, right? But no signs of him. Dr. Oz Show's senior investigative correspondent Marsky Abacampo has the latest on this case and this father's mission to find his missing son.
June 23rd, approximately 9:15 a.m., 24-year-old Daniel Robinson was last seen at a remote work site in Buckeye, Arizona, around 40 miles southwest of Phoenix. Then he drove off in his Jeep and disappeared into the desert. His father, David, reported him missing late that night. He said he requested a helicopter search of the area the next day, but it was initially denied. Then David drove more than 2,000 miles from his South Carolina home to Arizona to help find his son.
Very hard on the family. We're up day and night, making phone calls, making flyers, doing everything we can to try to find my son.
According to police reports, the first search inside Daniel's home occurred nearly 2 weeks after he went missing. Authorities reportedly executed several ground and aerial searches of the area, but Daniel's overturned Jeep was found almost a month later, just 4 miles away from his work site. Police did not suspect foul play, but a private investigator hired by David claimed the crash site looked staged. Almost 3 months after disappearing, Daniel's case finally began to gain national attention. A September 19th tweet that went viral reminded the public that he was still missing in the wake of finding Gabby Petito's remains. And on September 26th, Daniel's family held their own press conference. To date, David has led hundreds of volunteers in multiple searches throughout the desert. Daniel remains missing, but his family continues to hope for his safe return.
Mara joins us now. Folks, there are so many puzzling details in this case. Let's start with what we do know. What happened the last time that Daniel was seen, that last day?
Yeah, so Daniel, who works as a geologist, was last seen at a work site in a remote area of the Arizona desert. Now, according to the police report, he was working with a new coworker that day, someone he'd never worked with before. And this person told police that he did seem to be acting strangely and that he then left the work site just 15 minutes after arriving to work that morning, saying that he got in his Jeep, he waved goodbye, and then he drove further into the desert.
What do we know about that car that was found months later?
Yeah, so about a month after Daniel went missing, police were informed that a rancher found his Jeep about 4 miles southwest of that job site where he was last seen. They say that it was found in a ravine, that it had flipped on its side, it suffered extreme damage, and that even the airbags were deployed, and that nearby were a number of Daniel's belongings, including clothing, his keys, his wallet, and his cell phone, all the things that someone would need.
So we know Daniel's father has taken matters into his own hands after expressing that the police haven't been doing enough. I mean, most parents are probably upset if something bad happens to their kids. What has he found so far?
Yeah, he has been so devoted. He has personally searched that desert almost every day since his son went missing. He has also organized and led search parties with hundreds of volunteers, painstakingly combing the desert section by section with the help of cadaver dogs and drones. And the search was fruitful, not in his search for Daniel, but they did uncover a human skull, which led them to question how thorough could these previous police searches have been. Now, that skull, it's been confirmed, does not belong to Daniel.
All right, I want to bring in Daniel's father, David. David joins us now from Buckeye, Arizona, where his son was last seen. I know this is a difficult time for you, sir, and for your family, and we want to do everything we can to bring attention to your son's case. If you could just tell us a little bit about Daniel. What kind of person is your son?
Thank you, Dr. House, for bringing me on. I appreciate that. Daniel, he's a young geologist, as everybody knows. Ever since his childhood, Daniel strived to be and do everything that he desired to do. For instance, ever since he was a little kid, he challenges his siblings on everything, whether it's academically, whether it's down to playing video games. As you know, Daniel was born with one hand. He's missing his right hand, but he never let that stop him from anything that he wanted to do. He grew up wanting to play instruments. He played the French horn, he played the trombone, he played the trumpet. When he got into college, he decided to be a geologist. He went after it, and he graduated with honors.
So you got a wonderful kid, he's a geologist, he's where he wants to be in the outdoors, and then he goes missing. You immediately report this reality. What was the first indication that something may have been wrong?
Well, the first indication, I was in Columbia, South Carolina, of course, at home. Get a call from my daughter. She also lived in Phoenix, telling me that the coworker came to the house searching for Daniel, looking for Daniel. And, you know, at first, you know, of course, we go through this normal protocol with, like, you know, just making phone calls and make sure he answers his phone, which he didn't. Try to check with his friends, check his apartment. But it became apparent to me after so many hours. I look at the time difference, it was roughly 9 o'clock at night here in Arizona. And that's very problematic for me because Daniel would never go over 6 hours or even less to notify his family or siblings or someone, myself, that, you know, he's traveling, have travel plans or decided to go anywhere.
So let me shift to what's really concerning me a lot about that. And you expressed this concern of a lack of urgency from the police in those first few days after you reported Daniel missing. I'm concerned about this because I'm seeing similar patterns in other types of missing kids and adults, So tell us about what went down and what you didn't like.
Well, what initially caused me to pack my car up, everything I have, and just go on the spur of the moment and make sure I made it here to Arizona, is the fact that I found out my son was missing. It was at night, apparently. They told me they had to wait till the next morning to send a helicopter out. But when the morning came, they decided to cut the helicopter's flight, saying it wasn't authorized because my son is a grown man. As soon as that happened, I knew for a fact that I had to do what I had to do. I had to go. I'm his father, and I'm responsible. He's my son. And, if anybody go look for him immediately and treat it urgently, it's going to be me. So I decided to leave and come here to Arizona. I've been here since, searching for my son.
All right, up next, David is breaking down the shocking evidence found at his son's car and why he suspects foul play after his own private investigator joined the case. We're back with the father of 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, who was last seen leaving a remote work site in Buckeye, Arizona on June 23rd. Now, almost a month after he mysteriously vanished, his Jeep was found rolled over in a 20-foot ravine with his clothes, cell phone, wallet, and keys. But police say they have ruled out foul play. Now, David, you say you've uncovered evidence from your son's car that suggests otherwise. What have you found?
Yes. Well, I had to hire my private investigator. And the only reason why I have, because of the initial things I heard from the police department. My son's clothing was outside the vehicle. His cell phone was found in the vehicle. A lot of things were suspicious to me as a father. Of course, I needed to have a second opinion. Got my investigator. He found that the vehicle was being driven from the first initial crash with the airbags, 11 additional miles. Also, that the vehicle didn't roll totally over, but it was on the side. Also, just the whole thing of the forensic work wasn't done at the scene at the time. Plus the fact that my son is attached to his cell phone, and for anything, I know he wouldn't leave his cell phone behind.
David, what do you think police should have done differently in your son's case?
A lot of families go through the same thing like myself. They'll have that urgency, especially people of color. We don't get out that kind of urgency that we need, that 24 to 48 hour urgency. When the families goes missing like that, I think there should be something done quickly. And I haven't gotten that. I haven't got the sense of it's important that my son went missing. I don't see the agencies there to assist and things like that. I think everything should have been done. A lot more should have been done.
So while Daniel's case has now dominated headlines across the country, and this is again months after the heart-wrenching case of Gabby Petito got us all interested in this whole saga of people disappearing in the wilderness. A lot of that led to renewed interest in David and your son's disappearance. But to the point you mentioned earlier, Petito's case also highlights disparities in how the media covers missing persons, right? Especially involving people of color. According to the FBI's National Crime Information Center, people of color make up a disproportionate share of active missing persons cases. So we've talked about disparities across a whole wide range of issues. But I didn't expect it to be so prevalent in something like this.
Yeah.
A kid's gone missing. Do you care or not? I mean, I think you should, right? So missing white women's syndrome, what is that and why does it pertain to Daniel's case?
Yeah, so missing white women syndrome refers to the disproportionate amount of coverage that missing white women get and the lack of representation that missing women of color get when they go missing. So Black, brown, and indigenous women go missing at higher rates than white women, but they get almost none of the media attention. So this applies to Daniel's case because Daniel's case was completely ignored until Gabby Petito went missing, shedding light on this issue. And let's be clear about something. Media attention leads to more resources. The more attention the media pays to a case, the more attention the public and law enforcement will pay to it.
So, David, we're going to ask you this question directly. We're taking it because this is your specialty area.
David, what do you believe needs to happen to fix this?
Well, like I said before, there definitely need to be more urgency. And definitely there should be the same urgency that we see in the Petito case, for instance. That should just be a template of everything that should be done in every case, not just one.
So what's your message to Daniel right now? If he's watching on a TV somewhere, and hopefully he is.
Well, I'm doing everything I can to find my son. I'm not giving up. I'm gonna make sure everything I can do in my power. That's why I'm here.
I need all the support I can get from the community at large. I've been here since June 26th, and I'm relying on everybody and everyone to come in and help. We have searches on every Saturday. I have a petition out there, and also I have a GoFundMe to keep me here. So if anybody can help me any kind of way, that's what I'm here for. And my son need to know that I'm doing everything I can to find him, and I will not leave until I do so.
Well, David, we're going to try to help you. If you have any information on Daniel Robinson's case, everyone out there watching, please call the Buckeye Police Department at the number on your screen right now. As David mentioned, he's got a GoFundMe page to help cover the cost of his search for his son. You know, it's been gone a long time, looking hard, so help him out. The link is also on your screen, and more information is available at droz.com. Mara, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Oz.
Yeah, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. We're out here to do a candlelight visual on behalf of my son, and also to bring light into other families who are going through similar situations. So thank you. I'm thanking everybody who's out here to support. We need to stand in solidarity to bring attention to this case and to make a statement.
Oh, I'll be your shelter, I'll be your armor. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. I will never stop marching to reach you in the middle of the hardest fight. It's true, I will rescue you.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona. Nearly a month later, Daniel's Jeep was found in a ravine approximately 4 miles from where he was last seen, and police say that the vehicle appeared to have rolled and landed on its side. Daniel's clothes, his cell phone, wallet, his keys, they were all found at the scene, and police say that foul play is not suspected, but Daniel's family says otherwise. Joining us now is his family. We have Daniel's father, David Robinson, and Daniel's brother, Roger Colley Robinson. I want to thank you both for coming on this morning to talk about Daniel. And I do just want to start first, David, and then Roger, if you can tell me a little bit about your baby brother. But David, tell me about your son.
Thank you for bringing us on, Brianna. Daniel, he's a very outspoken guy from his childhood. Daniel, he's always challenged everything. He challenged his siblings. He want to outdo them academically. You know, everybody know that Daniel been born without a right hand. He never let that stop him. He done everything from learning how to play a French horn. He learned how to play the trombone. When he got into college, he sought out to be a geologist, and he pursued his dreams, and he accomplished those goals. Graduated with honors. He also is a friendly guy. He always have friends. The College of Charleston down there, I've seen so many of his friends that love him. Daniel's a guy that loves to travel. He spent times with his friend on traveling. He's loved nature. He liked to do hiking. Once he got out here to Phoenix, he liked to hike. He liked to travel, like I say, see nature. And he loved his career as a geologist. He liked to collect his rocks. He has a rock collection. But most of all about Daniel, he's a person that likes to bring people together. And even in this moment when he's not here with us, he's bringing everyone together right now. So that's the type of person that Daniel is.
I will tell you, I have been reading about your son, and I have been so impressed by him and what a special person he clearly is. Your baby brother, Roger.
Yes.
And I just wonder, right now authorities are saying that there is no foul play suspected. That's not what your family thinks. Tell us about this.
Well, there's too many things that's going on with this case. From the beginning, from a family standpoint, Daniel, he would never do anything, outside of telling his family. The first indication that I thought that was very strange with Daniel is, after 6 hours, not hearing from him at all. He either would call his siblings, his mom, or myself. He let somebody know where you're going. But once Daniel became missing, and we realized that, I think the quick action wasn't there quick enough, first of all. But then when, that caused me to have to do my own searching and things like that. But once his vehicle was found and the way it was found, it just didn't look right. It didn't sit right with me. That's why I ended up getting my own private investigator. And from that point, everything that was found from that point indicates that, we need to look a little farther than just saying he's just missing.
Roger, the Buckeye police say that the case remains open and active. They say currently we are consulting outside experts for enhanced analysis of the data from Daniel's vehicle. We are also asking anyone with information to please contact investigators. What do you think, Roger, about what police are doing and where this investigation into your brother's disappearance, where it stands?
From what I'm getting from this, I feel that, they're trying to do what's right at this point, but I feel that it's a little too late. Like my father said, had they been quick about it in the beginning, we wouldn't be here 3 months later, still searching for my brother and still looking for answers. I think my sister that lives in Arizona and my father did a lot in the beginning, trying to push and get things moving, pleading with the police, begging for them, hey, can you help us get a search? Can we do an air search? Can we get something? And I just think the lack of action initially is what's leading us here. And now they're having to backtrack and try to bring in outside sources to help search for my brother.
Roger, I wonder what you think about, there is now attention. Look, there is some national attention on your brother. That so infrequently happens in the case of a young missing black man or a young missing white woman. What do you think about that and what needs to happen?
I think that it's sad that we still have to, think in that way. I would say my parents never raised me and my siblings to believe that, the world's out to get us. However, there are some very obvious things that happen, historically, and there's things that still happen today that's not very great in this country. And it just saddens me that it takes this much, to get, people's story out, like my brother or like anyone else. We shouldn't have to depend on other stories or other cases to push our own story. And we just want answers just like anyone else. I think, my brother or everyone else's brother or father, siblings, whoever they may be, they deserve the same attention.
Look, and Daniel is a very special person. We hope that some more eyeballs on this case might get some more answers for you as you continue your search for him. Roger and David, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A lot of people go missing in this country. Some of them don't go reported. Many of them are never solved. We have a lot of attention and momentum right now because of the Gabby Petito case. Let's see if we can use it to help with another case. Of the nearly 90,000 active missing person cases, did you know that 45% are minorities? A percentage that's likely much higher because of how the FBI groups Hispanics and whites together. The majority of the missing are men. And even though black men make up just 6% of the U.S. population, they make up nearly a third of all male missing person cases. Among them is 24-year-old Daniel Robinson. And this is a very, very odd mystery. He's a geologist, and he was working in Arizona on June 23rd. And he's out in the desert, and he leaves his job site. And that's it. They can't find him. A month later, his Jeep was found in a ravine about 4 miles from where he was last seen. In the Jeep, clothes, cell phone, wallet, keys, all recovered. Because all the personal effects were there, now we have to ask some questions about the clothes. Authorities say they don't think there was foul play. Well, then where is he? Daniel was nowhere to be found. His father, David, has been in Arizona for the last 3 months searching for his son. David Robinson II joins us now. I'm sorry to meet you under these circumstances, but I'm happy to give you the chance to talk to the audience about it. First, do you believe that the authorities have done the right job in trying to find your son?
First, thank you, Chris, for bringing me on. I appreciate your time. No, I don't think they did enough. The first 24 hours to me is the first 24 to 48 hours, the first crucial moments. And those moments wasn't fulfilled.
It seems like all of the key discoveries were made by you, a private investigator, and friends who wanted to look. Is it true that your group, let's say, have found the remains of 5 or maybe 6 people in your search for your son, but none of them were him?
Yes. Well, we had 7 searches, 7 weeks of searches. I created a search full of volunteers who worked vigorously out in the desert, recovered a lot of ground around the last places, the last spot that my son was seen, which is the well site. Then when the vehicle showed up, we also covered those areas. And in those searches, yes, we recovered what appeared to be human remains. We documented them, take pictures, and turned all of those over to the Buckeye Police Department, including a skull that was found.
A skull was found near his car, but that is not your son, correct?
That is correct.
So then you get the
what
black box from the Jeep that he was driving. And it turns out, tell me if I have it wrong, that there was some kind of collision, but that after the collision, the car was driven another 11 miles, and that there were other signs of collisions, and that once the car was in the ravine, somebody attempted to restart it almost 40 times. Is that all accurate?
That is correct.
So what do you believe happened to your son?
Sir, that is hard to say. I've been going over this thing over my mind. I talked to his mother, talked to his siblings, family. We all are confused to what happened to my son. But one thing I do know, my son loved his family. He would not go anywhere without telling us. He would not have a desire to be away from his family. He would not go out into the desert. He would not try to join a monastery, which is being told by the Buckeye Police Department. And my son mysteriously disappeared. That's all we do know.
No enemies, no ongoing mental illness. He wasn't suffering from anything, anything that might cause that kind of duress?
Nothing. My son is an outgoing guy. He is optimistic. He have dreams of things he wanted to do in the future. He loved to travel. As a matter of fact, he had plans for his family to come visit him in July. I had plans to be here to see his vehicle for the first time. He's proud of that Jeep. And for myself to see that Jeep the first time in the situation that it was in is very devastating for his mother and myself and his siblings.
I'm very sorry that you're in this situation. I'm not going to say for your loss because we don't know where your son is. And as you get developments, you're going to be able to get in touch with me whenever you want, and we will update. And I will make sure that people see the picture now of him, where he was, and we'll put it on social media also. God bless and good luck going forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
If you've seen this man, let us know.
Story that BNC Live has been following from the beginning. A father continues his mission to find out what happened to his son. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson was last seen in June. The geologist left his remote Buckeye, Arizona worksite on June 23rd. The case has captured national attention, with hundreds of volunteers joining in that search, led by his father, David Robinson. The group has covered more than 15 miles so far, and his father says they won't stop until his son is found. Well, joining us now is his father, David Robinson. Thank you so much, sir. I know this is a difficult time. We truly appreciate you taking the time out to talk with us. How are you doing? I know that's a silly question, but how are you holding up, sir?
Thank you for having me on. It's been rough. It's been 22 weeks now. My son's been missing. This Friday, we had to bring his birthday in. Hopefully, I found him before Friday, but it was hard, especially over the holidays. Not being able to say have Thanksgiving dinner with him through the Christmas holidays, the New Year. And like I said, this week the birthday. So it's been rough. It's been rough. Out there every day and every week in the desert out there, searching for my son in the city searches all along Arizona, and it's been rough.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the birthday coming up, he would be 25. The world knows him as, unfortunately, the missing Black geologist. But tell us about your son, Daniel, and the work that he loved and the work that he was doing in Arizona.
Yes, Daniel's a young Black geologist. He aspired to be that. He loved Arizona, for instance. It's an ideal place for a geologist. He made this his home. He loved this place. Get to hike and do things that he loved. So Daniel's a person that liked to seek adventures and things like that. But he definitely loved his family, and I can imagine how hard it is for him also. Whatever's wrong what happened to my son, I need to find out, because I know our family love him, and he loved us also.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, Mr. Robinson, I mean, you've uprooted your life from South Carolina to Arizona to lead the efforts in finding your son. What have you uncovered so far, and do you feel any closer to finding Daniel?
I've been trying very hard to get law enforcement to really get involved, to take my son's case seriously. Try to get them from minimal work to maximum work. I have all kind of leads that I follow, of course, but every time I go out there, especially to search for my son, I'm either in the city or in the desert. Every day, it's almost like the first day, I come back empty-handed. For this week right here, hopefully I'm bringing in law enforcement to my searches this weekend, and hopefully that will bring something significant towards my son's case.
Yeah, and I'm looking at you and thinking of your son's photo that we just saw, and he resembles you.
Yes, that's my baby boy.
Yeah, you can see the resemblance. So what have you heard from the police, Mr. Robinson, when it comes to trying to find your son 6 months later?
Well, I don't hear much. I sent a letter out asking for the FBI to come in. I need outside resources. If I feel like the local department can't handle my son's case, or don't have the money or resources they need to go for outside sources. So I did reach out to them to bring in the FBI. The only time I hear back from them is when they discussed that the FBI would not be coming in, because according to them, the FBI felt that I was doing such a great job as a father looking for my son on my own. So they would not be coming in on the case.
Is that what they told you, Mr. Robinson?
That's exactly what they told me. It's very hurtful for me. I don't really believe that's something the FBI would say. So I'm definitely working harder. I'm working harder to tie in some of those loose ends. My son went missing only a few hundred feet from federal lands, so I'm trying to use that as a avenue to force the FBI into my son's case.
Yeah. What about local law enforcement? Have they closed your son's case?
Well, after my son's vehicle was found, a few days after, just one day after, they turned all those things over to me, turned over the vehicle to me, all my son's belongings. They was all marked for safekeeping. So for that department to say they even trying to do any kind of investigation, how can they when I have everything? They don't have anything to investigate on. But they did clearly say that they didn't have any leads, and that's the reason why they gave me my son's things to go by. At that time, they said it wasn't investigating, but I do hear rumors now that they say they are. So I'm confused as a father. I don't know what they're doing. I do reach out to them and hopefully can get them to, like I say, bring in those outside resources that I need.
Yeah, Mr. Robinson, my heart breaks for you. I mean, you're wearing two hats, a concerned father on one side, and then on the other side, a damn good detective, according to you, is what the FBI told you that you're doing. I guess I want to end this on a happier note. Can you just share a fond memory of your son, Daniel, with us?
Yes, I have a lot of them. Just the fact that Daniel, he's a son that, put his mind to something, he actually do that. He's one of those people that, with my children, he's the youngest. And one of the things I love the most is that whenever, they go through their teenager years, that most times, parents and grandparents, we end up being like second choice to our children since they find their new friends. But Daniel always found a way to reach out to his grandparents, make sure they knew that he loved them. Even during the COVID time, he would actually left Arizona to come to South Carolina just to stand outside his grandmother's window to talk to her. He didn't want to expose her to COVID, but he wanted to see his grandmother. So Daniel has a great heart. He's a very good kid. He's always asking questions. We have our 2-hour conversations, and I miss those things. I miss a lot of that. So about Daniel. Daniel's a very good kid, and also he's a very brilliant man. And I'm grateful for him.
Yeah, most certainly, sir. And I just wish you all the best of luck in your quest to get answers and healing.
That's
right. Yeah, Mr. Robinson, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. God bless.
You as well. BNC Live will be right back.
Government officials insist
that BNC Live has been following from the beginning. A father continues his mission to find out what happened to his son.
Daniel Robinson vanished in the Buckeye Desert.
Daniel Robinson went missing in the Buckeye Desert.
Urgent plea from a father who has scoured the vast Arizona desert himself.
4-year-old Daniel Robinson. And this is a very, very odd mystery.
Daniel Robinson disappeared on June 23rd in the far West Valley.
His parents, David and Melissa, need our help.
I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson.
His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
God knows how much we can bear, and at times I feel like I can't really take but so much.
Where is Daniel Robinson?
And identify they were human leg bones.
But you know what? It's still urgent to me as a father because, we found human remains out here.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. I also want to thank the volunteers that come out here every weekend, volunteering their time. And, without these special people behind me, I wouldn't have a search.
How does a young man vanish off the face of the earth? How does that happen? No record, no sightings, nothing. He's just gone. And when I say a young man, I'm talking about 25-year-old Daniel Robinson. He is the apple of his parents' eye. A young geologist, music lover, good-looking, great grades, the works. So why can't we find Daniel? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. And his dad, David Robinson, is using the GoFundMe money to fund his own investigation and the desperate search for his boy, his son, Daniel Robinson, 25 years old. What happened to him? How did he just disappear? David Robinson, sir, thank you so much for being with us. Tell me when you first realized your son just hadn't called in a couple of days, that he was truly missing.
Yes, my son, on the 23rd, I did get a call from my daughter. She also lives out in Phoenix. And at times I feel like I can't really take but so much more.
I will
But in his weakest times, David says it's the volunteers that provide him strength.
You know, everybody know that I call them my extended family. And so this visual is the same thing. We all here have one common goal, and that's to find Daniel and also to bring light what happened to other families.
As the Robinsons' extended family light candles tonight, their collective light shines towards that day when their question is answered and Daniel comes home. Josh Sanders, 12 News.